Hi, thanks so much for joining in. You're watching BQ Prime. My name is Alex Mathew. We're here to talk about the earnings of Gujarat State Fertilizers and Chemicals, GSFC. And it has had a good quarter in terms of top line growth, with the operating revenue growing as much as 42.5%. But then on the bottom line side, there has been a little bit of pressure because of input costs and also a reduction in the subsidy income for the company. But let's get the management's view as to what the fine print is all about. I'm joined right now by Mr. V.D. Nanavaty, who's the Executive Director of Finance and Chief Financial Officer of the company. Thank you so much, Mr. Nanavaty, for taking the time.
Yeah.
If you can break down the numbers for us, seemingly in terms of volumes and in terms of sales, it has been a good quarter, but there seems to have been quite a bit of pressure on the input cost side, as well as the reduction in the subsidies.
Yeah, that is correct. So last year the input costs were very high, and to protect farmers from the vagaries of price hike and to make the fertilizer available at reasonable price, government cushioned all the price rise in input cost and increased the subsidy substantially. So if you recall, the last year fertilizer subsidy budget and the actual for 22-23, it was 2.5 lakh crore rupees, against which government is thinking that this 23-24 will be around 1,75,000 crore rupees. So they see a saving of 75,000 crore rupees in subsidy based on the lower input cost. So last year, and for the first time viewers, it can be noted that the last year 22-23 was the highest profit earning year for GSFC. So we made historical profit, which are not sustainable year over year. So exact comparison with last year or any quarter of the last year is not comparable, rather I would say. But we have made reasonable profit in fertilizer segment, and of course, as mentioned, top line and volume growth has been very good. But because of the lower input price, government reduced subsidy 3 times so far in calendar year 23. So that has been factored. So that is the result. I mean, having seen the lower profit margin.
Okay. As I look at your sales numbers also, and I'm looking at fertilizer here, and I'm looking at diammonium phosphate, sir, and there is a substantial increase year on year. Is there a reason why the sales were lower last year?
Yeah, so diammonium phosphate, we make it at our Sikka unit near Jamnagar. So last year the cost economics did not permit good production of this fertilizer DAP. So we had a lower production and lower sales. But this year the economics have changed, and based on the lower input cost, we could afford to manufacture more fertilizers at Sikka unit, which help in higher sales also.
Okay. I've also noticed one aspect, which is I believe the phosphate and potassium fertilizer trading that you have undertaken in the second quarter, and you have not undertaken trading in the past. Could you tell me if this is going to be taken up going forward as well, and what is the kind of margin that you will get on this kind of business?
Yeah, so trading is a kind of an opportunity available whenever the prices are favorable, because when we import finished fertilizer, hardly we have any margin on it. So if it is profitable only, then only we import and sell it in India. So that we did in this quarter, but it was not there last year. And as and when the opportunity arises, we will keep on doing this trading, because it supplements our manufacturing efforts also. So put together, we are able to serve our market, serve our customer, and maintain our volumes, top line, and the numbers.
How are the margins comparable, sir?
Margins, this is a different kind of a game.
Yeah.
So when you import something, say in September, and at the time of import, the margin may look very good, but say from October, subsidy has been reduced. So whatever I sell to farmers from 1st October onwards, I will get lower subsidy. So really, there is no firm number that you got this or you got this. So you would say from January onwards, if they increase the subsidy, and if I have some sellable quantity out of this imports that I made, I will again get more realization.
Understood.
So there's no fixed number like that.
I get that. I get that. In some of the commentary by some of your peers in the fertilizers and chemical space, the conversation is about a weaker H2 because of the vagaries of the monsoon. There are issues that have been highlighted. Is that something that you're seeing as well? Are you also expecting, from the demand perspective, a weaker second half?
No, demand perspective, we don't see weaker second half because the late rains have helped the soil in maintaining the necessary moisture. And we hope that Rabi harvesting will be good. In fact, many of the states, Rabi is the main crop, like Punjab, UP, Bihar. Kharif is lesser and Rabi is more. So from demand perspective, we don't see any effect, but subsidy reduction from October will have some effect in the Q3. But from Q4, we either expect government to raise the subsidy in line with rising input cost, or input prices to come down, because otherwise no economics of the production or import will not be there, and there will be problem of availability of fertilizer, which cannot be afforded in this election year, Lok Sabha election year.
No, certainly. That makes sense. In fact, that very statement was there in your investor presentation as well. I was going to ask you about that. So what you're expecting is that Q3 margins will get put under pressure, but Q4 it should improve. Is that my right reading?
Correct.
Okay. I just want an update, Mr. Nanavaty, on the projects that you have running, because there are quite a few in terms of capacity expansion as well, right from the ammonium sulfate plant or project all the way up to the green hydrogen project, which is culminating in FY26. Can you give us a status update on what capacities will be added, or what the progress of these projects are?
Yeah, so ammonium sulfate, we already have 3 plants. So this will be the 4th plant coming up in December 23. That will have a production capacity of around 132,000 metric ton, and that can fetch around 250 to 300 crores rupees of turnover per annum at full capacity. Then we have a sulfuric acid plant coming up in next year. That will be around 300 crore capex. So that will help in supplying captive consumption of sulfuric acid. So that will be there. Then we have a HX Crystal, that is industrial chemical plant, coming up next year, around 125 crores. That is a pharma ingredient. So that will help in lessening the imports from China, and our Indian manufacturers will be able to buy this locally from us. We already have this plant, so this is the 2nd plant. So already demand is there. So that will help in top line of around 100 crores or more than 100 crores. Then we have a solar power plant coming up for 15 megawatt. That will help in reducing our power costs. The state utility provides power at 8 to 9 rupees. This will be around 5 rupees. So fertilizer and chemicals are very power guzzler plants. So with huge consumption of power, anything coming at cheaper cost, 50% cost, will be certainly helpful for the bottom line. And then we have Sikka unit, as I said, Jamnagar. We are planning to make up phosphoric acid and sulfuric acid there. That will increase the DAP and phosphatic fertilizer consumption by around 4 to 5 lakh a metric ton. So this will be a captive usage plants, leading to higher production of fertilizer of 4 to 5 lakh metric ton. So that could bring in around 3,000 crores of turnover on annual basis. And then we have thinking of fourth melamine plant of 40,000 metric ton capacity. That will be a capex of 1,300 crore. That can bring top line of 400 to 500 crores.
Okay. So you've broken down, no, Mr. Nanavaty, you've broken down all of the additions very, very well. I'm just trying to understand. So 2023 end itself, you're going to have the ammonium sulfate plant, which is adding, you said 300 crore on an annual basis. That will kick in, I would think. What kind of capacity would you, or usage of capacity would you expect in the fourth quarter?
There being the first quarter of plant commissioning, it has some teething problems and all those things. So maybe 70-80% for 1 quarter.
Okay.
And it will keep on going to 80-90% going forward, and ultimately 100% next year. Which is still about 60-70 crore of turnover that you expect in the fourth quarter coming from this plant, right? Correct. Okay. All right. I just want to, last question, ask you about the usage of cash. I would think that a lot of the cash that you have is going to be utilized for the capacity expansion that you have currently, but still you're sitting on around 2,400 crore of cash, which I think you will still have a significant surplus after, over and above that. And taking into account the Gujarat state policy of dividend distribution, can we expect a significant dividend this year as well? Yeah, so the 4 aspect of capital restructuring mentioned in GR, one is dividend, which already has been done in September 23. We have distributed 400 crores of dividend at 500%. So then is the next in line is buyback and bonus kind of thing. So that will also be under discussion with board of directors, and it will be suitably announced. You may be aware that today is the board meeting of Gujarat Nanavaty Fertilizer, for which we are the promoter, and they will be taking up the decision of buyback today. So by end of this today, you will have some announcement on the stock exchange about buyback. So this may be followed by the other PSU also in line with GR. Understood. Mr. Nanavaty, absolute pleasure speaking with you. And I sincerely hope that we will be able to touch base with you more often going forward. Thank you so much for speaking. Yeah, thank you. All right. Well, viewers, there you have it. Quite a detailed conversation about the earnings of Gujarat State Fertilizer and Chemical. It should give you a sense of what is brewing for the company, and also the features that could affect the earnings in the second half. Demand is not an issue, but the question mark about the subsidies certainly is something that will have to be looked at very closely. Do stay tuned. Lots more coming up on BQ Prime.
Good morning, all the viewers of BQ Prime. It's always an honor and pleasure to interact with you on this forum. And today is a very different day. It's not about our businesses. It's not about our margins. It's not about our portfolio growth. Rather, it is the time to start celebrating Diwali, start celebrating the festive season. So wishing all of you all the very best, the best of health, best of prosperity, and best of anything else you dream for, and hopefully with all the best that you get, you come and celebrate in your Taj and other iconic assets of Indian hotels. We look forward to serving you, we look forward to hosting you, and we wish you the very best from all of us, your team at Indian Hotels.